So if you're into movies, you already know the legend behind Godzilla. Pretty much the gist of the monster is it appears over the Japan skyline and wreaks havoc. It's been doing it for the last 50, 60 years, fighting numerous monsters. And this film is interesting because it kind of depicts if Godzilla were to appear in present day Japan. One of the things I really enjoyed about this film is the socio-political aspect of it all. You have a lot of these weapons that they didn't have or weren't thought of back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s when these older Godzilla movies were being made. So it definitely adds a new air into how they fight the monster. And I thought it not only added a cool quality to it, but also a realism that was kind of forgotten in the other movies, which were represented as B movies. And this one is more of like a Japan blockbuster that has overseas value as well. And along with that, you have the political tactics of the film. There's a lot of internal politics. There's this whole bureaucratic feel to the movie that really give you a sense of what it all takes for everybody to get onto the same page just to, come to a common goal and fight the monster. It was almost comical to see, all these different, political factions, not just Japanese, but, French, Russian, American, and you kind of come together and battle this crisis. And I think that is definitely something not just missing in monster films, but in, a lot of films in general where the UN kind of comes together to fight this common force. Another thing I really enjoyed about this film was that they didn't make it too serious. A lot of retellings or reboots of classic cinema that are more so B movies, they try to make it so serious. And one of the charms of the older movies was that it wasn't serious. It was pure enjoyment. It was pure entertainment when you went to the cinema. Now, I will say, this one does have that raw realism, that grittiness to it that a lot of modern day films have, but they keep it quirky kind of with the way they portray their characters, their political figures. They're like so serious, but they'll say a line or two and you just can't help but smirk at it, so they definitely keep that realm of emotional vulnerability open for the viewer. You go, okay, like I know they're trying to be serious, but come on, this is still Godzilla. It's kind of a commentary on the political climate, not just in Japan but around the world. And I thought it was really interesting to kind of dive into that and push that towards the forefront of a movie that otherwise was just a monster destroying things. So one of the things, pretty much the only thing I disliked about the film was the CGI was pretty noticeable. And I understand that this is a pure entertainment film. You go, you have your popcorn, you go home, you leave your brain at the door. I understand that. But when talking about a film that the basis of it is the monster, I think the look and feel of it could be a little better. Now, they used the original template from the old 1954 film, which I really enjoyed. I like that. That was a really cool thing that they did. But for 2016, 2017, the monster still didn't look believable. And I think that detracted the elemental force of the movie. It really took me away, and I felt like that was a point that they could have nailed home. They have the technology to do it, but they just kind of skimped on it, and that brought the movie down for me just a little bit. So my final rating for the film is a 7.0. I could probably raise it to 7.1, 7.2. Definitely gets a passing grade. It's an enjoyable film. It's a cool, interesting look at a genre that has been, stapled into Japanese society over the last 60 years. And I'm glad they rebooted it and they're keeping the franchise alive. That being said, there's nothing that this movie offered me that was really set apart from, the rest of the franchise, aside from kind of the political views and kind of putting it in modern day Japan. So it gets a passing grade. It's solid. If you enjoy monster flicks, I definitely think this is one for you, one of the better ones that come out in the last few years. So give it a try if it's something that you might be interested in. So that was my review for Shin Godzilla. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you love it? Now, if independent film is something that you love, please share with your friends, subscribe below, and like us on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in.